gonna be terrible.
This podcast?
No, the intro. Maybe the podcast. Oh boy. Wait, we don't even have a podcast name. Welcome to our podcast. This is
Jenny.
And I'm Alex. This is just meant to be a space to record and share our thoughts and experiences. And today we wanted to talk about what God has done for us and talk about how we met, how what we thought was impossible happened in such a short period of time, and how God continued to bless us in our wedding and marriage process in unexpected ways. The first thing I guess we should talk about is context. And I can start. So before we even met and before we dated, I want to talk about my mindset first, and then Jenny will talk about her mindset of just where she was at before God brought us together. So before dating, my mentality was just like, I was barely working, I had no degree, I was trying to be a ski bum. And relationally, I just desired celibacy, kind of. Not to honor God, but just for selfish reasons. Like, I didn't want to deal with another relationship. I didn't want to deal with potentially like spending a lot of effort on someone and then it not being reciprocated. And I had pretty set expectations of what marriage is supposed to look like, and this whole partnership of giving and taking. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to spend effort to find someone who agrees with me. And so that's just where I was at before Jenny even showed up. And even after Jenny came and I was interested in her, I was like, it's just, I was still in my selfish mode of like, you know what, I don't, these feelings exist, but I don't want to spend any effort on developing it or making a relationship work out. And so that's kind of the background of before we even got together.
Nice. For me, I was in grad school, finishing up, and not trying to move to California or anywhere. But the year I moved, 2022, was my peak pagan year of my life. So I was in multiple relationships in the same year, not at the same time. Serial monogamous dater.
Okay.
And so I was finishing up grad school, and I don't apply to any jobs because I applied to many jobs and I didn't get any interviews back. So I was discouraged and lazy to continue. So I focused on finishing my thesis and kind of put job searching in the back burner. But then somehow God opened the door and a recruiter reached out to me to interview for a position that I am completely unqualified for. And then I do it reluctantly. And then I get the job somehow by the grace of God. My one-shot wonder. So I take it because I don't have a choice. I mean, I could have made choices, but I didn't want to. And throughout the interview process, I was also praying, God, I don't really think I would get this job, and I don't want to move to California because I don't want to pay taxes. But if you are sending me to the Bay Area, open this door for me. And he did. So I was like, come on, man. It's not funny. But I obeyed and I came very reluctantly. Yeah, even for like a year into moving to the Bay, the whole time I was trying to find the perfect timing to move back. Like from the get-go, I was like, I'm moving back, everyone. Like, don't try to be friends. Don't try to be friends with me, because I'm moving back. And that can bring us to October of 22, when I do move and come to the church that we are both attending at the moment.
Yep.
So I come, and as the serial monogamous dater, I get into a relationship. And, well, I was ready to commit. I was telling Alex too. I was like, hey, if this works out, or like if nothing bad happens in a year, like I'll just get married. It's whatever. Like I just want to,
just tie the knot and get it over with.
Yeah, and I always had the potential of marriage in mind when I started dating. Although I didn't really date men of faith. Even if they were in the church, I would say, like in hindsight, like even the people who were like church people, the fear of the Lord to the level that I would have wanted, like, was not there. And so, but coming here, like, it was like transitioning out of my pagan life. And so I was like, oh, I just kind of like dated if it didn't seem like a bad option, which is not a good option. That is not how people should be dating. But I did, and so that was my commitment level of like, okay, like if nothing bad happens, like let's just get married. And this is like by myself. This was not a discussed thing. It was just like my own commitment. But things didn't work out. And so then I go down. So we broke up at the beginning of 2023. And so now I'm like, oh, perfect. New year, new me. What a great timing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, this year I'm staying single. It's like me and the Lord, this is my year. Like, I'm about to get, like, cleansed. Like, I'm going on a boy cleanse. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. But I was proclaiming to everyone, I was like, everyone, this is my year of singleness. Watch me.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's terrible. I did not.
Well, before we get to even that one, I guess we can talk about when the mutual attraction started. Or when attraction started. Because I think it's important to the story. Because when Jenny first came to the church, I was like, oh shoot, new person is interesting. She seems interesting. Like, Instagram posts were not what I expected. Very goofy, like on purpose, and very okay with not kind of just like fitting the Instagram mold of like, oh, I just want to put the best photo that shows off how great I look. It's like, nope, I do random poses and make weird faces at the camera, and I'm going to post all of those.
Arguably, I think they are the best photos, but you know.
Anyway, so I was like, okay, this person is kind of interesting. But mainly my mindset was like, nope, I'm just going to go snowboard as much as I possibly can in my barely employed state. with the limited funds I have, so I was just gonna drive to Tahoe pretty much every weekend. And when Jenny came, she was like, I just bought my Epic Pass. I'm in this new place, and the closest ski resort is 4 hours away. I'm never going to go snowboarding. Why did I buy this pass? And so when she asked people at church, everyone was like, this guy is just going to go. Like, he's the only one talking about snowboarding. And so we ended up going on one snowboard trip together, just us two. And keep in mind, I'm still very like, nope, I don't want any relationship. I don't want nothing. And on that trip, we talk about things like our testimony of how we came to know Jesus. We talk about just like what our lives were like in like high school and growing up.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, you don't remember a lot of stuff.
Also, terrible idea. Do not go on a road trip with the gender of your interest by yourself.
Yeah.
That is the opposite of good boundaries.
Yeah, terrible boundaries. Also, I didn't expect there to be so much conversation in the car ride at the beginning. I realize now that that's pretty stupid, but I was like, yeah, we'll just go in silence for 4 hours. It's like, okay, yeah, that's not really realistic. So, yeah, after that trip, I was like, okay, I have feelings. I didn't want them. I'm gonna not go to Tahoe again with her just one-on-one. And I didn't. So I just went on the weekdays. And she was like, why aren't you telling me that you're going? I'm like, I have this terrible secret.
This is while I was still dating someone else. So even worse boundaries. Do not hang out with other people one-on-one when you're dating someone.
Yeah.
Bad boundaries.
Yeah, very bad boundaries. I mean, yeah, and then she decides, okay, no boys, 2023. And then I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that helps me, kind of. But then my feelings are still kind of like, they're just brewing in the background. And so, yeah, as she continues to attempt her no boy 2023, I'm just sitting there like, I wonder if I can be brave enough to not be so selfish. Pretty much. Yeah. So what happened in 2023? You mind sharing?
Well, I'm still trying to move back. Kind of. Or it was like I wasn't trying to move back, but I wasn't trying to stay here either. So what I did was like every other month I would fly back to Seattle like for like 2 to 3 weeks. And every time I would like take some stuff back and bring some stuff back and like just change out seasonal clothes as if like people like go home to your parents for the weekend in a drivable distance, but I would like fly. And every time I flew, I was like, yo, this guy's kind of cute. So then I'm like, let's hit him up. Like multiple times. But God blocked all of them.
Yeah.
And then
Thankfully.
in like March or April, something hit me one day and I was like, oh my gosh, I have zero fear of the Lord. because if I did, like, how could I live like this and also proclaim that I have made a promise with God to stay single for the year? Like, this doesn't make any sense. So then I start praying. It's like, God, can you please show me what it looks like for me to fear you in my life? And God was like, bet. He was like, ready.
So what happened?
I don't know. I just like, my faith just grew so much. I was taking like some of the classes that were offered at church, multiple of them at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like being prepared for something. I was like, I don't know what's coming, but God is like trying to do something, but I don't know, and I'm kind of scared because like He only prepares you if something is coming. So I'm like, okay, like I can feel you like walking with me, but I'm not really sure where we're going. And then one day I saw Alex.
So, hold up. Before you say this, context is that I was in praise team for a while. So I'd been playing the drums for a while. And what month did you join?
I don't know.
But it's sometime in 2023, right?
Yeah, like early, maybe? Like maybe February or March. I don't know.
So we're in praise team. We're spending a good amount of time on Saturdays, like in a group setting.
Mm-hmm.
And she's upset at me for not snowboarding on the weekend. And I'm like, I'm just trying to keep these feelings in control, in check. And poking around a little bit, being like, hey, so what are your thoughts on dating? And then her response just being, no boys for 2023. But yeah, I asked this guy out this past week, and he said no. And God blocked him. But yeah, no boys for 2023. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know what to make of that, but okay.
Terrible. Why did she even like me? I would be like, what's wrong with this person?
I don't know. But yeah, continue. You were saying one day something happened.
One day I see Alex sitting in the drum cage, and he looks kind of cute. And I'm like, bruh, no. No. Because I was kind of going forward with my life, like at the church and like in the like Bay Area. I was like, okay, I don't really want to date people at church, because like even though the last relationship was really short, like I don't want to date like ex's friends or friends' exes or whatever of that sort. So I was like, brain, you need to relax. That is not a valid candidate, so you cannot think that. But I am a rebel.
Against your own rules?
Or like, because like when I want to go for something, I just do it without thinking. Positively, I would say I'm a go-getter.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So then I keep trying to hang out with Alex and make opportunities to like spend time with him. Like, either one-on-one or in groups, like whatever, it didn't matter.
Yeah, like going on hiking.
It's like, Alex, do you want to go on a hike? It's like, Alex, do you want to go like play tennis or like set up this tennis thing with a bunch of people?
Yeah.
It's like, Alex.
Yeah. And I had no idea. I was just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and to me, Alex is basically like gay.
Okay.
It's like your gay best friend. But
Okay.
not gay or best, just friend. And so I was like, well, we hung out before. Why can't we hang out now? It's okay.
Yeah.
Bad boundaries from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this continues for a while.
This is maybe around like June? Oh, end of June. End of June.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah. I see you in the wrong light at the right time at the end of June. Like mid-June to end of June.
Huh?
Everything happens very fast.
Wait, but the hiking and playing tennis, it all takes time.
So hiking
Was no interest, just...
I just wanted to go hiking.
Okay.
But like to continue it.
I see.
And or like now my motivation was to like see you again. Like it changed. But before it was just like
okay.
I mean like Alex is like just like always free. So like let's just
Yeah, because I'm not employed pretty much.
Yeah, so like he's always down and always free, so like just invite him.
Yeah.
And then for tennis, like you had all the balls and the rackets and stuff. Like just invite him.
Yeah, so I was just used.
A little bit. And then
and then something changed at the end of June.
Yeah, which is when I saw him in the wrong light. And then I asked you to hang out one-on-one.
On 4th of July.
Yeah, platonically.
Sure.
The intention was platonic. I asked him to...
No, you asked me if I had July 4th plans.
Yeah.
For 4th of July.
Because I wanted to spend time with you.
Yeah, and then I say, like, some friends are trying to, like, hang out, but I'm not sure if the plans are actually happening, so I was like, if nothing happens, I'm just gonna go drive to Santa Cruz by myself and just, I don't know, just look at the beach and just chill there.
Mm-hmm.
And...
So I wait. I'm like, all right, cool, let me know.
Yeah.
And then he didn't let me know.
Yeah, because
so I was
the
like,
plans weren't...
I was like, hey, are you gonna do something or what? Like, tell me. Tell me now.
Well, before you even do that, when I said, oh, my friends might do something, you were like, can I go too? And I was like, what? You want to meet my high school friends?
I don't know why that's weird.
I don't know. It was just unexpected. And she was like, yeah. I was like...
I mean, it's kind of weird, I guess.
Okay. And then... Yeah, so nothing happened. No planning happened. So she messages me again. And it's like, hey, is something happening? And I tell her, like, I don't think so. There's no plans yet. It's like I forgot what day 4th of July was, but I don't know. It was like really close to 4th of July, and I was like, yeah, there's no plans. I don't think anything's gonna happen.
And I intentionally didn't say anything at church of like, hey, is anyone like, is everyone doing anything? Because I was like, I'm trying to spend time with Alex.
Platonically.
Yeah.
So you want to say
so
what you said?
I would actually say, so I asked you, do you want to go to the beach and watch the sunset with me? And my argument is that the watching of the sunset is platonic, but spending the time with me may not be. So I didn't romantically ask you to watch the sunset with me, but I might have wanted to spend time with you romantically even without the sunset, which is why the sunset part is platonic.
Okay. Well, my argument is you can't decouple those things.
So I was like, well, great. This guy loves driving. He's going to drive me to the beach. Because at the time, so the reasoning for this is like at the time, the sky, like every day, the sun setting from like my drive from church to like home, it was so pretty. I was like, I wish I could see this at the beach, like where it's like at the
horizon.
Horizon line. So it's like two birds, one stone.
Yeah, just using me again.
Why not? You're gonna go there anyway. Let me just hop on there.
Yep.
But
And there were parallels to the ski trip, so
yeah. And so I was like, let me drive to your house because you live more southward.
closer to Santa Cruz.
And you were like, no, I'll pick you up. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, because, like, 4th of July, driving at night is dangerous because people are drinking, blah, 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 blah. I was like, sus. But I was like, okay, fine, you can do that. But I'll pay for dinner because we must be equal because this is a friendship.
Because it's a platonic.
Yes.
A platonic date.
Exchange of goods and services. So that was the deal. He drives me and I feed him.
Yeah. And in my head, I was like, is this a date or is it not a date? Like, it feels like a date. Watching the sunset. Hey, you want to watch the sunset with me? It's like, how is that not a date?
I don't know. So then.
So yeah, so I go pick her up.
And Alex.
Do this awkward dance around the car.
Yes. I come outside, and Alex is standing outside the car, and I was like, the heck? Why are you standing outside?
Yeah.
That has never happened.
Yeah.
But it's not like he was at
like
the door.
Nope. Yeah.
He wasn't at the passenger door of the car or at his door. He was just
in the middle of the parking lot.
Between, like, the sidewalk where it's like where the sidewalk, the sidewalk where the parking lot meets, like, the homes, and then his car is over there, and he's just, like, in the middle. I'm just, like, I walk, and he kind of, like, goes towards the passenger seat. Side. And I'm just like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, okay. So he goes back to the driver's seat. I'm just like, the heck?
Yeah. So now I feel super awkward because I'm like, okay, I'm confused. I'm actually really confused now. Because if she had just gone into the car
I was like, oh, thank
and
you.
I opened the door for her and she just accepted that, it's like, okay, seems more like a date now. But she was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, because it wasn't a date. I didn't ask you on a date.
Yeah. So we drive like maybe 5 minutes, like less than 5 minutes. And I just, as I'm driving, I just ask her, so, is this a date?
And I was like, huh?
To me, this is the longest
This is
ever.
literally how I said it. I was like, no.
I was like, okay, cool. Because in my head, I was like, okay, now it's clear. Like, the intention is clear. So I can go about my day with this other person in the car.
And what I was thinking is, well, one, I don't even like him yet. It's like, I'm just interested. And I just want to spend time with him. But if I say yes, is he going to think that I like him? It's like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It's like, I thought this was just supposed to be a hangout. Like, blah, 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 blah. I was like, it's like, I don't want to risk the misunderstanding. So I said no after thinking about it very quickly.
Yeah. So after she said no to the fact that it was a date, we went on a date to Santa Cruz, grabbed a meal, probably sat just as close to each other at that dinner table as we are now.
Probably closer.
Yeah, maybe even closer.
It's like this.
Yeah, it was very close. It was like this.
The food was really bad.
Food was really bad. It was really, really dark.
The table was really small.
So awkward.
Yeah. And I wasn't hungry. And so I'm like barely eating, and then
Barely eating the bad food.
yeah.
And I'm eating it knowing that, oh man, this doesn't taste very good.
So
And
then,
looking over at her plate, not being touched at all.
so then I'm just looking at him because what else am I supposed to look at? And then Alex keeps saying like, I hope this doesn't reflect poorly on me.
You
Like-
like that part too much.
So I'm like, what are you saying? Like, who says that? Who says that?
Me.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah. So we finish the dinner, we grab dessert, and we go to the beach. And as we're sitting on the beach, the clouds are just rolling in constantly. It goes from like kind of overcast a little bit, but like still okay for the sunset. It's like probably going to be really red in the sky. But then just more clouds come in, and still it just turns gray and dark, and then it's nighttime.
Yeah, and it's so cold.
Yeah. So no sunset. It's cold. We end up back in my car, and we're watching the street fireworks done by people, probably illegal fireworks, but it's fun. And we like talked about our feelings and whatnot. And for me, the conclusion of that conversation happened when I was like, is it okay if I ask you out on an actual date? And
I said, yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. So we go home. So I ask her on a real date. And she says still, I don't know about to this day, but for a while she kept saying, you never asked me on a real date. You never asked me on this. I asked you on a real date.
I don't remember saying that.
You can't just say you don't remember every time.
But I don't.
Okay. But yeah, so I ask her on a date. We go to Oakland to some soba place that is, according to the internet, pretty good. Because she likes Korean soba. Turns out this place does not do Korean soba. Just does this weird American/Japanese version that's not good. At least not to our liking. And I was like, you know what? There was a failed sunset before. Let's go try hunting the sunset again. And so we drive towards SF. As we're driving, the clouds are coming with us again. Because the day was really clear.
The fogs.
Yeah, the fog comes in. I'm like, what? And then we keep driving, trying to like outdrive the fog pretty much. And it doesn't work. We just end up driving for a really, really long time. And we're like, okay, well, no sunset today either. Just not really going our way. And then as I'm dropping her off, we're just sitting in the car when we're just talking. And Jenny keeps calling it a hangout. I'm like, no, this was a date. What's happening? She's like, oh yeah, it was a really nice hangout. I was like, what? Huh? You don't remember any of this, huh?
No, but I can see why. Because it's just like weird. Like, you were just a friend.
Yeah, I was just a friend.
It's just awkward.
Yeah, and then she says, you know what, I want to keep my no dating promise.
It's like, oh yeah, actually, I feel like I shouldn't be doing this right now. I should, like, uphold my promise to be single for the rest of the year.
I was like, you know what? I can respect that.
Not because I hated him. It's, like, genuinely is like something was not sitting well. So I was like, hey, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, I understand. I think it's honorable to try and keep your promise. I was like, okay. Well, At least I tried pretty much. That's kind of what was going on in my head. And I guess this, I kind of listed it on our outline as like the situationship. But I don't know if it really needs a title. That's probably the closest word to it right now.
Just a bad boundaries friendship.
Yeah. Because we would still hang out, like praise team, see each other all the time. And we would still like text each other the same way, send each other Instagram reels the same frequency. And so to me, I was like, okay, well, I can respect the no dating thing. But now my feelings are all this weird jumbled up mess. Because it's like, we went on dates, and then now we no date, but yes feelings? Like, what's happening? And so I share with her, like, hey, I don't think this is healthy. I think we should reconsider how our relationship kind of is. Like, what is it actually? And kind of drawing clear boundaries. And after our retreat...
In August.
Yeah, in August. Jenny decides, hey, we're just going to be friends. Just friends. So, no more texting every day, no more like Instagram reels all the time. Just friends. It's like, okay, it's clear. And then
I go to Hawaii.
Yep.
Because a friend invites me to check out like his business stuff. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, I've never been to Hawaii. And like, it's housing. It's like I get to observe like something cool. And I can work remotely, like sign me up. So I signed up.
Yep.
Bad boundaries.
Yep. And so I see this on Instagram. I'm like, man, yeah, that makes sense.
But while I'm there, I'm like, we're not really in a place where I need to defend myself or assure him or anything of that sort. But there's still some worry that Alex feels bad and perhaps be confused and misunderstandings. So I would like message him.
Go back to messaging every day.
But not like conversational.
Yeah.
But it's just like almost like just, it's like, hello, like I still remember you. Like
hello.
Like basically like around like once a day. Like, oh, I don't even know what I said, but like that was my intention. I was like, it doesn't make sense for me to be like, yo, this is not like I don't need to defend myself to a friend. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I come back.
Yeah.
And then I finally learn about boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shoot, something is wrong with me. Because all this time, I'm like, why do like my friends
who are guys
end up liking me? Like, and I was like, oh, I think my theory is that like because my personality is kind of weird, people take interest because they're like, oh shoot, I've never seen such thing, and like I think I like it, and then when they find out more, and they're like, oh, never mind. But no, I mean that might be true, but no, it was me and my bad boundaries. So I'm like, oh shoot, I have bad boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, for me, there was some point one day after she came back from Hawaii, and this is just like my thoughts on my own. I was like, something is really sitting like not well with me. I wonder what's going on. And all I could think of at that moment was the Bible verse that said, "Let your yes be yes and no be no." And I was like, did I really get a no? Like, what's happening? I got I'm gonna stick to no dating this year. And then, like, messages and reassurances. And I was like, that doesn't seem like a complete no. It's definitely not a complete yes, but I was like, I don't know what's happening. So I looked into the verse is actually Matthew 5, verse 37. So I looked further into that verse and what it's actually talking about. And really the verse is talking about how as humans, we have very little control over our situation and of the future. And so we shouldn't swear on things at all. On God, I'm going to do this or something like that. It's like, don't swear on God or on anything else because, like, we can't control it. And when we make promises, we don't keep all of them. But despite the fact that we don't keep our promises, Jesus is saying, He and God, they keep their promises. God keeps His promise. And so, don't worry about breaking your promises. Just don't worry about promises as a whole, because Jesus' promise is the one that is good, the one that is going to be upheld. And His promise of forgiving us of our sins, of our broken promises, pretty much, is the most important promise. And so I share this with Jenny, and I say, you know what? Whether or not you want to go ahead and commit to keeping the promise of no dating, which in my head, it's like, that line has kind of been really blurred now. Anyway, but I was like, you know what? I think this is a good time to kind of reassess. And I was also like, a little more than halfway through the year. It's like I want you to decide, knowing now what this verse is saying. Either pick the no dating, or why don't we just date? Like, the rule has kind of been, I don't know, like, kind of fudged around a little bit. So it's like, let's just date. And as we continue talking about it, it's funny because we ended up talking about this weird, like, decision matrix of, like, in total, there's like 4 options or 4 responses that I could have received. One is yes, right now. Like, yes, let's date right now. Okay, that one's pretty clear and obvious. One is no, right now, like full rejection. Like, no, this is not going to happen. No dating, no nothing. Like, not in the future either. Just no dating. Okay. That would also be a very clear answer. There's the yes later of, like, let me do my no dating thing until the rest of the year, and then let's go on dates. It's like, okay. That one I was willing to be like, okay, I think I might be okay with that one.
Terrible.
Yeah, it would have been not great. But the one that I was really like, this one is definitely the really bad one, is if she just said, you know what, let me decide later until at the end of the year, and then at the end of the year, say no. Because that's just like stringing me along until the rest of the year, and then being like, actually, no, I don't want to date you. It's like, yeah, that's not great. So I was like, no, you can't do that one, but you got to give me at least one of the 3. And then September 21st of 2023.
What the? Pulling out these dates.
Yeah. She drives down to me this time. And we hang out for a little bit. We talk. And she says, you know what? Let's date. And I was like, yes!
Cringe.
Yeah. So we end up going on our third first date. Or I like to call it the third first date. We go, this is just like simple dinner, like around town. We're already pretty close at this point, so it's like no need to be like show-offy. There's nothing to really to show off at this point.
Was there ever?
Okay. Anyway, but this dinner is back to awkward, like really, really awkward. And I'm like, what? What happened? I mean, like, it was a nice meal, and we went home, and it was just like, that was kind of really awkward. What happened? And because it was awkward, we messaged each other, and we're like, let's come up with some questions that we can ask each other. So, like nerds, we gave each other homework. Yeah. And then I guess that leads to the next kind of big thing that happened, which is how we decided to get married.
Yeah.
So from being super awkward on our third first date, on my way back home from the SF airport, I dropped by her place because on the way I was like, yeah, I want to hang out. And so we talk about some of the questions. Why? What's
I
happening?
don't know. Just thinking about it's so cringe.
What are you gonna do? That's what we were. We were cringe. We're probably cringe right now too. To our future selves. But yeah, so we go some questions and it still kind of feels like not awkward, but not like super fantastic. Yeah, really, because I think we were close enough as if we were dating already, and so a lot of the things that would get discussed when you're dating had already come up, but now we had just started dating again, kind of, and it's like, oh, what am I allowed to ask? Like, how deep can the conversation actually go? But the questions did help a bit, and she was saying that there was a very important question that I was not able to look at on her phone, but she told me to guess the number.
Cringe.
Yeah. But yeah, I guessed a number, and her question was, what needs to happen for us to be dating? To be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And my response was just, nothing. I think, like, all the things are there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Next.
And so then now we were, cool, we're dating now. And then
I like this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we shook hands.
Dapped you up.
Yeah. And then immediately afterward, what did you ask me?
What needs to happen for us to get married?
And I was like,
What?
oh, okay. mean, at this point, for me, I already understood her idea of marriage, it being partnership and being mutual and being a demonstration of grace to each other constantly throughout our whole lives, reflecting Jesus' relationship with the church and how he continued to sacrifice for the church, and the church's role is to submit to Jesus. And so on a lot of our core values, I was like, well, that seems to line up just fine. We definitely get along. And we like each other a lot. So I was like, I just shared my insecurity at the time, which was finances. Do you remember what you said after I said that?
I said, how much do librarians make?
Yeah, because I'm pursuing a career in librarianship.
And you're like, they like eventually get up to 6 figures.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, what? I thought you were going to be poor your whole life.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So that felt good, a little bit. In terms of the reassurance part, not the, it's like, poor the rest of my life. It's like, okay, well, I mean, if it happens, it happens, but not a great confidence booster thinking that, it's like, oh, she just thought I was a bum.
Yeah. But how great is that? I still wanted you, despite your bumness.
Yes, that was great.
Amazing.
Yeah, but before she even asked me about how much librarians make, she said, don't worry about it, I'm rich.
I'm not rich, everyone. I'm unemployed. Please donate money.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, my financial situation doesn't seem to bother her. So, and I wasn't really bothered by my financial situation at the time either. It was more of just like, I don't have a lot of finances to give at the moment. Like, that's not my strong suit. And she was like, nope, perfectly fine. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the other one that I said is, I think it's important that I meet your parents. At the very least. At the very least, I should meet your parents. Because my parents had just moved to Korea. And so the likelihood of her meeting my parents anytime soon was not likely. And so then, pretty much like that night, we planned on how I can
meet my parents. Yeah.
Yep.
I messaged my parents. It's like, hey, are you guys free this one weekend in December? So, current timeline, we're in at the end of September.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, hey, are you guys free like the first weekend of September? Or first weekend of December? I'm dating someone and I'm going to marry him. And they call me immediately, FaceTime. And I'm like in bed because I was going to sleep. And I get nagged at for like an hour straight. They're like, oh my gosh, like you don't even know who, like what if he is like a murderer, or like my mom really likes the murder mystery shows, like Korean shows of like people going missing or like people breaking up and the boyfriend gets mad and like murders the girl, stuff like that. And she's like, you don't even know who he is, like you just started dating him, blah 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 blah. And to be fair, they have seen every single person I have dated. Not as an introduction for like a serious relationship, but like, cause you just like see them, I don't know, for like at least once. And rightfully so, they were worried about my choices. So I was like, I understand that you have no faith in my options, my choices, but this one's a little different. You gotta take my word. Yeah, but I got an earful, and then December came, and they met, and it was much better. because they had like a whole month to calm down.
Yeah, that was a pretty important month.
They also thought that Alex did not work. That he was just a student. Because they were like, what does he do? Like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, he's going to school for this thing. And then they're like, you're going to date a student? Oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. And then when they met, he explained that he actually does work.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, like, feel a little better.
Yeah.
But he didn't tell them how much he makes. Because then maybe they wouldn't have felt so much better. Anyway.
But yeah, so, I mean, we went on a couple dates after this, like, pseudo, what is it? Pseudo proposal.
Sure.
Yeah, and it was great. And then met the parents. And, well, one of the things that Jenny always wanted for her wedding was wedding photos. But not... Huh?
Actually, I did not want weddings.
Okay, for your marriage, you wanted wedding photos.
If I had to do something, I wanted to take photos while I was still young.
Okay, yeah.
But, to be clear, I did not want any weddings. I was like, let's just elope in December. Or, like, go to a restaurant and say our vows. And have people eat.
Yeah.
And Alex and our pastor have convinced me that wedding ceremonies are like baptism. That
it's a public declaration
of the commitment you're making.
Yeah.
And I was like, fine, I'll do it. Let's do it. Let's start planning.
Yeah. And so because the wedding photos is the one thing she actually wanted, she started contacting people in Korea.
Inaccurate.
What?
So, rewind a little bit. My mom was turning 60 in 2024.
Uh-huh.
So, as the 60th birthday gift, in Korean it's called hwangap. For her hwangap, I wanted to send her to Korea and like spend time with her family there because all of her sisters and brothers are in Korea. And so I was like, you should like go with them. But then my brother and my dad were like, I want to go too. And I was like, the heck? So I sent all of them, including myself, because I'm like, okay, let's just make it a family trip. Like, might as well. So we go to Korea as a family trip. And that was set like before we date.
Yeah.
Before we start dating, that was already set. That was like a separate plan from me and Alex. And then I was like, hey, can I go meet your parents?
Oh, yeah, because my parents live in Korea.
Yeah. Can I go meet them on my own? And he's like, I don't really want you to do that. Like, I would like to be there when you meet my parents.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, then come. Like, what else? How else was I going to do it, huh? Like,
yep.
Like, if they're there, I'm there. Like,
mm-hmm.
you're the only one who's not there. You must come join us.
Yep.
And so then he bought tickets to come to Korea. And then I was like, oh, I don't actually know the order in which it happened, but there was the desire to do photos and like wedding photos. And so I did start contacting a wedding coordinator around December, like early December. I contact her, asking if I can get a wedding photo shoot done that week that Alex and I were both there, because I was there for 2.5 weeks and you only came for a week.
Yeah, for 1 week.
So, but we were gonna go in like March, and it was December, and nobody plans anything in 3 months.
Anything wedding related.
3 months, 3 to 4 months, unheard of. And I was like, oh man, but like, there's no way I can do this without a coordinator. So I asked the coordinator that, like another friend of mine, also worked with. I was like, hey, I got a referral from my friend, and I was wondering if you can help us get a wedding photo shoot done for this week, for this, like, that week in March. It's like,
yeah, in 3 months.
and she's like, oh, sure, like, let's try it, like, might as well. It's like, usually people take 12 to 15 months planning, like, their wedding, and, like, maybe over a half a year to do, like, to book stuff for the photo shoot too. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but, like, let's try it. And then, so we started out with photos, but then, like, within a week or so, we ended up adding a wedding in that same week in March.
Yeah.
And the justification was, so I want you to meet my Korean family while you're there.
Extended family in Korea.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We're all Korean.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, how are we going to do that? Like, what is going to be the event invitation for them? It's like, oh, come meet my husband for
Who's
dinner.
actually just my boyfriend at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Fiancé person.
Like, for a dinner. Like, mandatory attendance.
And it's also my mom's 60th birthday.
Yeah.
So be there for that too.
So then we hijacked my mom's birthday. And...
Okay, we don't actually hijack it because you ask your mom what she wants.
That's true. I was like, would you want, like, a reception dinner or a small wedding? And she was like, oh, like, a small wedding would be, like, nice. And I'm like, okay, bet. The small wedding is not small, man. Like, the wallet size is not small. Okay, small wedding, like, we have, what, like, 80, 90 people come?
Yeah.
That is not a small wedding. A small wedding would have been, like 20 people max.
Yeah.
And that's already, like, all filled with just relatives, because there's a big family in Korea.
Yeah. So it's 95 family members.
It's more like...
Almost.
75.
That's a lot, though.
Like 70.
I think even just
like
family
20
members,
randos.
like, it wouldn't qualify as a small wedding. It's just a wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't... I mean, we, like, semi-hijacked my mom's wedding. Or my mom's...
60th?
60th birthday. But her birthday was before, like, the week before, technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, like, we already ate dinner for that. And then this was, like, another event. But, yeah, so for 1 week, we have to do, like, suit fitting, like, ring making.
With the wedding photos.
Wedding photos and...
It's a photo shoot that takes the whole day.
Yeah, crazy. And then also the wedding ceremony. All in 1 week. And then we flew back the next day of the ceremony.
Yeah, the day after the ceremony.
Morning after. Not as a honeymoon. Just going back home.
Yeah.
But...
And then we went to work, like, right away.
But what's crazy is... So usually, because people start planning, like, 12 to 15 months ahead. Actually, I would say there's no competition with whatever is left. Like, as long as you don't have, like, some specific place that you really want to get married at.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, like, a date that you want to get married at. Or, like, the wedding dress shop, or, like, specific dress, or, like, specific person you want to get makeup by. It's actually not so bad. But most people care about what they do in their wedding, like, how it flows. Just, like, all things wedding, people care. Because it's a lot of money. So because I didn't want any weddings, I'm like, just do whatever. Like, it's okay. Just do whatever. Just pick for me. It's fine. Just make it happen, please. Let me just show up. Like, let me just go and then, like Wallace and Gromit.
Eh?
The Wallace and Gromit, in the morning, you just, like...
Oh, yeah,
You're just breathing, and then the bed gets you up and, like, washes everything, and then you're ready.
Yeah,
like, that's what I want.
The food just gets served right away.
That's the kind of life of a bride I wanted. But there's so much homework. I mean, it's not as bad as planning the wedding here, but, like, basically, because the coordinator is like, I've never done this before, and, like, for her, it's like, she's like, we need to book stuff, like, ASAP. Every day we need to book something.
Yeah.
So she would give me homework, like, day one, like, look through venues, and, like, pick 3, and, like, I'll make the call, blah, 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 blah.
And then because we aren't in Korea to visit the venues, it's like, we contacted my parents, like, can you go visit and, like, take a look at the venue, see which one looks the best or has the best package, and, like, film what it looks like inside and things like that.
Yeah, and we also ended up just having to pick a dress shop, because usually people will have, like, the full day to tour different shops and then pick one at the end. But because we were able to just pick one, you can take pictures. So if you don't decide to book with them, you can't take any pictures or videos.
Oh.
Which makes sense. Like, if I don't know, but that's their rule. So, like, I was able to get, like, a bunch of photos and, like, remember that day. It was really tiring. And then, yeah, everything just went very smoothly. Yeah. And then, like, when we met up for, like, a final check / like, rundown at the venue, like, we picked the lowest food option of the two, because it's, like, they, like, both sets of, it was just, like, the basic and then basic plus.
Yeah.
But the basic options were, like, still, sounded pretty good, so I was like, okay, like, this is fine, like, we can just keep this. And then we, like, cut off all the alcohol, I think, except wine or something. Like, we didn't want to serve any alcohol.
Yeah.
And then
the flowers.
Oh, the flowers. I think I picked either all fake or partially fake and partially real.
Yeah, or just whatever was kind of the budget option.
Yeah, it was more of a budget option. But then they, like, the owner of the venue didn't seem so happy, because it seemed like, I think when your mom visited, like, they kind of talked about it as if I was going to choose something, like, more expensive. But then when we went to meet with them, I was like, oh no, like, I don't need that. Yeah, so I was like, it was all good.
Yeah.
And then we show up to the venue.
Yeah.
On the day, and I'm looking at the flowers, and I'm like, wait a second. That does not look like fake flowers. Or, like, but I'm pretty sure I picked half and half, because I feel like I would have known. It's like, wait, like, then where are the fake flowers? Because there's, like, the flower arch, and then, like, the seat flowers, and then the table centerpieces. But I was like, this looks really good. Like, they did a really good job. And then someone says, like, oh no, they're all real. I'm like, what?
It's like, we didn't pick that option.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, like, we just wanted to, like, do it for you guys.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks. Like, I mean, because we're very used to, like, the capitalistic exchanges, I was just like, oh.
It's like, what's the catch?
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. Why? But, like, I'm thankful, but, like, am I going to be charged for this?
Yeah.
And then I also find out that the food option was upgraded, and I was like, hold up, like, who signed up for this? Because not me. And they're like, oh, no, it's just, like, 서비스. It's just, like, We just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It's
Why?
like a gift, pretty much.
Why? But I was like, wow, that is such like favor on the wedding day. Because there's absolutely no reason for them to have been so nice to us.
Yeah.
And they were just like really excited for our ceremony. Like the
Yeah.
guy who was like coordinating and like rehearsing with us.
Oh yeah, he was very excited.
Yeah, like he was like, I don't even know why.
Yeah, but also was it the wedding planner?
Yeah,
The wedding planner. She was also super excited because, she was like, "Oh, I've never done this for foreigners before. I've never done a wedding in 3 months before. Like this is crazy. Like this doesn't make any sense, but it's super exciting." So yeah, it's just so many things went right.
The foreigner comment is actually wrong.
No?
She has done a lot of, like people like us. Like my friend who did it is also like us. Like, like gyopos, like Korean people living in the U.S. Like, because she had a couple from like New York.
Oh, okay.
And like from California and stuff, but probably not. She probably hasn't dealt with someone who cares as much as we do.
Well, it cares as little as we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the short timeline too, like that one's for sure she has never worked with.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was like a joy to work with. Very good at her job. Also very energetic and cheerful. But also the fact that like one of my best friends were living in Korea, like she came in so clutch.
Yeah.
Because she helped me through the dress fitting too. Like she was there giving me feedback. I mean, mostly she was just like, "Oh my gosh, it looks so good" for like everything. But I mean, still like it's like I've never done this, and I mean, she's never been through this whole like process. But just like having her there was like just like him.
Yeah.
And then she also came to help us during our photo shoot. And then she stayed she came at like 1 or like 12 or something.
Yeah, she like stayed the whole time.
Yeah. Like she like took off like work to like come support us.
Yeah.
And she also came early to our wedding to just like help out with a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
So it's just like the goat.
And gave a speech and everything.
Yeah, the goat. Gave a speech in Korean and like partially Korean, partially English. I still tell her like that was the best speech of all the speeches that I've heard for my weddings out of 3.
3?
Yeah, her and the other 2
Oh.
But her speech was actually like I almost like teared up. The other speeches, maybe I was just too stressed. And they were too stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would highly recommend getting married in Korea if you with enough time.
Yeah.
To plan. It's worth it because I didn't have to do anything for the flowers. Like, I basically was Wallace and Gromit wedding version after the initial decision making. But here, you have to make decisions and have to, like, someone has to, like, make sure that they show up, make sure that people are doing their jobs, like, set up the flowers, set up the tables, set up the centerpieces, get the food, cater, like make sure catering's there, get the photo booth. Everything is like on your own.
Yeah, and then Korea is just they give you a huge checklist, and you're like, "This is what I want."
Checklist and a check.
Yeah.
But because also their standard of excellence is really high, I can fully trust that it will look good.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely like all their photos because the photos came out looking like what you would expect from like a magazine type
They look
thing.
like stock photos.
Yeah.
Like generic Asian wedding stock photos.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Is that everything?
Yeah, I think that's everything. I mean, we went from before dating to all the back and forth of the dating / not dating until we were dating and then
Being
engaged.
on the fishing hook.
Yeah. I didn't let go.
That's crazy. Terrible. If I were your friend, I would have been like, what are you doing? Just give up.
Aren't you glad that I did not have any friends that said that?
Also, I mentioned to Alex because when you told me that you had feelings for me, I felt very betrayed. So I was like, how could you have feelings for me while I was interested in you?
Yeah.
I was like, you liked me this whole time? That is a fake friend.
You were supposed to be my gay friend.
Like, you were only friends with me because you like me? You're like, no. I was like, well, we'll never know. Anyway.
Yeah, and then how all the things kind of, all the stars aligned for our wedding in Korea to happen. But really, not luck. Really by the grace of God.
Yeah. Because I was trying to get married to some rando. I mean, not rando, but like...
Just anyone.
Yeah. And after the first guy that I dated in the Bay didn't work out, I was like, why did I move here? And just being confused about like what God was doing in my life. But in hindsight, now I can clearly see like God had much better plans for me at his timing. Because we also talk about how if we had started dating like when we first met,
yeah,
and like somehow if I had interest in you from the get-go,
yeah, because no one finds interest in me at all ever.
Hey, that's half true.
I'm kidding. What?
Anyway, like in his perfect timing, there were things that each of us had to resolve on our own. And then he prepared us separately so that we could be put together and glorify him together.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what we wanted to share. Just our testimony of how God worked in our lives through us separately, but also together. And I think from this experience, I really believe and can like declare into like my future and like other people's lives too that God's plans are 200% better than your own, and like the Lord has a plan for you.
Yeah.
Like you may feel like it's sucky at the moment, because sometimes it does suck. Like, I mean, it feels sucky or it hurts or whatever it may be, but at least for me, like going about my life, I can live in the hope and assurance that whatever is happening now is that God is in control and his plans are better than mine.
Yeah. I think something that, I don't know, I didn't write it down, but I remember is that when Jenny did say, like, oh yeah, let's date, she mentioned, like, wait, isn't, like, but I don't know, like, aren't we starting our relationship on a failure? Because Jenny was saying that she failed to not date anyone for a year. So aren't we starting our relationship on failure? Like, isn't that bad? And at first I was like, oh, is that really what's happening here? Like, did I make her break a promise? And is that how we're starting? But I think really the story in Matthew 5 is a story of grace, saying like, hey, we are going to fail even in our marriage. Like, we're not going to love each other perfectly. But the most important thing is that because Jesus died for us, because he's the one who forgave us of our sins, we only have to choose to love him more and more, and that will lead us to loving each other more and more. And all of this is by the grace of God. And so our relationship didn't start on failure, but started on grace.
And I can attest that now it's been like almost a year. I mean, counting from Korean wedding, it's been a year, but counting from the wedding here, it's a little less than a year. But I can confidently say that when I try to love Alex more, it's so hard. But I always come back to him, to Alex, saying I'm sorry and I like love him more when I like come before God and realize how much I'm loved and how much it's like how much I feel loved and how much I love God. In turn, like I can only love Alex more, and it's like I don't have to. It's not as much of a struggle from me just like no, like I want to love Alex more. Like how do I do that? Like how do I like listen and like be patient with him despite like blah 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 blah, versus like God's grace just like melts, like softens my heart and leads me to love better for my husband. So it's true.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this first episode of our podcast.
Maybe last.
Yeah. I hope you found our story to be entertaining, and we'll see if we do another one in the future. If you stuck around, thank you.
You're welcome for blessing ya.